Got a game here with Dov Plays. I'm trying Epidemius. Once again, this is free LC content, so the only new unit I had for Nurgle was Epidemius. I took a build that has the best possible chance of using Epidemius's abilities. I mentioned in my video I really don't think he's multiplayer viable, but he can buff up demonic units with physical resistant melee attack. My problem is they're mostly going to be dead before that matters, but I got as many demonic units as we can, so if there's anything in the late game, they'll still benefit. So we have Plague Bears, Epidemius himself. I needed a caster, so I have a Plague Ridden of Nurgle on foot, and this is the main problem with taking Epidemius in multiplayer is you have to take a Nurgle caster, which Nurgle casters are so fucking expensive. This Plague Ridden on foot with literally one spell, I think he's like legitimately 1,400 gold, maybe 1,500, which is just insane. That's like Sigvald. That's like Sigvald's level of cost for just a foot caster with 4,000 HP. That's, it's insane. So Nurgle needs cheaper casters, and then maybe the Chaos caster heroes will be cheaper or something, but as long as you have to take a Plague Ridden to be a caster, you're not going to want Epidemius, but whatever. We have some Plague Toads for disruption, Nurglings behind Plague Bears, and the Plague Bears are just going first because they're slower, so everything will hit at the same time. I do have one Chaos Knight. For Dov, he has the Gallows Giant to apply burn and lower my healing, but also the leadership debuff as he's melting through some Plague Bears right now. Bunch of pistol mobs, some bomber mobs, 3 depth guard, one of which is the Bloody Reaver depth guard, and then Count Noctilus and more zombies. It's just zombies, zombies, zombies. My toads are gonna hop along to the back line. Try and disrupt these bombers before they melt my Plague Bears, though I did take the Plague Bears for their gigantic HP pools so that maybe the bombers just can't get through all of our raw HP. Sands of Sickness is out, giving us melee damage reflection to try and help as much as possible, and also debuffs Count Noctilus. Not debuffing some of the zombies, I don't know why. It affects certain zombies, but not all of them. So the demons are in, already losing a Plague Bearer, already going to lose the Plague Toads of Nurgle. And Epidemius is out here trying to get some good slaps, and he's already up to 50%, which I will say, the intensity charging on this is much more appropriate. This is how most intensity-based things in Warhammer 3 should charge up, because I haven't checked all the intensity things. It's really hard to go check things like that, but like most of them, like Scarbrand, the Cauldron of the Great Moth, or Scrag the Slaughter, just charge so fucking slowly, they're never going to matter. Overcast Ransom Invitations on Noctilus. I know he's going to heal himself a bunch, but he doesn't have a huge HP pool, which is why that's the only spell I took, is just to sap him down and really tax him. Now Epidemius is trying to take that fight, but we're still losing some Plague Toads, losing some of our demonic units. Now Epidemius should be, like, fully charged. Yeah, so he's fully charged. Now everybody around him, since everybody's demonic besides that Chaos Knight, everybody around him is getting the extra physical resistance and the extra melee attack. We'll see if we can slap through some stuff. I mean, my Plague Bears have 45 melee attack. But Nurgle's problem has really never been in melee. It's getting shot. And oh boy, do his demonic units hate getting shot as the bombers tee off on him. Pistols are even firing in. The Gallows Giant just throws guard mode on and fires down the line too. Fecundity is out, though they're on fire, so they're receiving less healing. My Chaos Knights are trying to avoid the Bloody Reaver Deck Guard. I let them get caught a little bit, and that was a whoopsie, but now I go into the back line to disrupt some of these bombers, some of these pistols, and things like that. My Beast of Nurgle is just causing disruption, regenerating up on its own. Go, Beast of Nurgle, go. We still have some Plague Bearers fighting it out as bombers get back online and shoot at them once again. Noctilus is still at half HP, and my Plague Ridden is helping out where he can. He wants to avoid fighting Noctilus, but we have some Depth Guard that need dealing with. My Plague Bearers are ready to go against those guys. Not a lot of armor piercing, but pretty high weapon strength. I think they'll get some good work done. Gallows Giant is not caring at all that my Nurglings are beneath him, and there we go. Sands of Sickness lowering the melee defense of those Depth Guard down to 13, and for the pistols it is 0. Chaos Knights still trying to cause disruption while staying ahead of the Bloody Reaver Depth Guard. Lose some more frogs. I'm going to lose some Nurglings as well. Even the ones right next to Epidemius can't stay in, because his Sands might be better if they provided leadership, but extra physical resistance and extra melee attack is pretty whatever. It's fine, but like demons don't struggle with their stats. They struggle with fucking leadership and just obliterating themselves, so I'd rather him have leadership or something like that. We're just falling behind. The Vampire Coast, while having more range than us, is also still beating us in melee. Is Human Boy trying to prove a point? I don't know. He might be. He might be trying to prove a point that, like, Epidemius is asynergistic, and the mean comments that hurt my feelings that say I'm just an idiot and don't know how to use him. I feel like I've been playing this game enough and long enough at a high level to understand the mechanics. And I'm just saying, it's kind of neat to get more physical resistance and more melee attack, but that's not their problem. That's not really their problem, is it? Chaos Knights have rallied. They're trying to come back, but they're very, very, very low. I think I'm trying to charge them over here because I believe I have a tier 2 Fecundity ready to go. But the zombies are just outlasting us. We're slowly getting poked down. My Plague Bearers are about to crumble. Now, to give them credit, they have actually been holding for quite a while. I was impressed how long my Plague Bearers held on before Demonic Stability crumbling. The Toads, disappointing. Nurglings, disappointing. Plague Bearers, chillin'. Fecundity is cast as soon as the Chaos Knights join, so I could get them that sweet, sweet healing. I'm only holding on for this. I would have surrendered by now to not waste Dov's time, but I did want to try to get another Rancid Visitations Overcast onto Noctilus. Plus, he's being pursued by the Frolic who's Bubonic, so he is actually taking a lot of damage. And I could probably kill him here, and that's all I'm holding out hope for, as I didn't realize he had also forgotten a Depth Guard in the distance. So there's a full health Depth Guard I'm not factoring in, but I'm going to kill Noctilus, that son of a bitch! He's now crumbling, so as long as the Frolickers stay on him, he shouldn't rally leadership-wise, so he can't cast Invocation to Heck on himself. I do get another Sands of Sickness out on everybody in these blobs, loses melee defense and speed. I get melee damage reflection and vigor, so I'm trying to get buffed up. Oh, that's good. Okay. I'll be fair. That's a good trait of Epidemius. Noctilus died, by the way. His Sands give vigor, so I'm keeping the Plague Bearers from being exhausted, which does give them a little bit of a bump in leadership. That's good. I'll give you that. I still think that buff needs to be more significant to make taking demons worth it, but that's nice. We killed Noctilus. The bounce power gets a little less morbid. I've been trying to kill the Gallows Giant for literally ever. He's just chilling. And now, with a full health Bloody Reaver Depth Guard chasing me down, Dov still has a full health Depth Guard in the distance ready to come over here. My Chaos Knights are running out of steam. I'm trying to just keep all of these pistols crumbling so they can't shoot at my Beast of Nurgle or Epidemius. And maybe I can clutch it out, kill these halberds, that summon is gone, and the Gallows Giant is in. Can we hold? There's another Fecundity, my third one of the game, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. It heals up like literally everything. Yeah, like every unit I have just got hit with that Fecundity. Vampire Coast still crumbling with their range units, still crumbling with some pole arms, crumbling with more pole arms. If I can beat the Bloody Reaver Depth Guard, if I can beat the other Depth Guard, we're good, we're chilling. Because the Gallows Giant's a non-factor. He has nothing left to shoot, and I can just beat him up. Epidemius isn't an amazing duelist, but he's way better than the Gallows Giant. See how I'm hitting it? Bounce power's getting a little better, but then my Chaos Knights terror out. Frolicker is getting close to their heal cap. And they're gonna start Demonic Instability crumbling. No, Frolickers, don't leave me! We were doing so good! We actually were doing pretty good against Bloody Reaver Depth Guard. No! There comes the full health Depth Guard. The pistols still are crumbling, but they have enough life left in them to shoot in at me. My Plague Ridden's just trying to hold on so we can cast another Rancid Visitations or something to try and save us from some fate. I use it on the Gallows Giant, but it is too late. Army losses will take hold. And poor Epidemius. Can't stop, won't stop. He's fun. I just don't think he's, like, very good. And that's the thing, is I don't think he's dog shit, right? Like, let's go through what he would need to work. Nurgle needs a cheaper caster, because then it's not as punishing to take a melee lord. But right now, taking a melee lord, you have to pay for a very expensive side caster, right? And then I think if his buff wasn't physical resist and melee attack, I wonder if it was leadership and melee attack, or even honestly, like melee, just throwing leadership on his current one. Honestly, that would probably be fine. I don't think he'd be overpowered even if he did that, but he could use like a little buff because he's fine. And that's another thing we have to mention is he's fine, but the problem for Epidemius, not the problem for Nurgle, is Nurgle has some of the best lords in the game. Like, Nurgle's roster right now is, can your Lord and Hero Hammer carry? So, like, they're not looking for kind of a fine lord. There's other rosters that Epidemius would probably see play in, but it's like, okay, if you're going to blob or you want a duelist, Kugath is right there, and he's a caster. If you want a cheaper caster, support lord, you have the Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle lord. Okay, that's fine. And then if you want a duelist lord that's a little bit cheaper than Kugath, you can go with the Exalted Great and Clean One's an amazing duelist and still a caster. And like all three of those are casters, so it's like, okay, but Epidemius is trying to compete with some of the best lords of the game. So it's rough, you know, it's rough for him. I don't think he'll see a lot of meta play, but he's not terrible. There are things that are released that I'm like, well, this just sucks, right? Like the fucking Frostworm. Frostworm's terrible. But Epidemius isn't terrible. He's just not good. Scrolled through some of the values. Depth Guard did amazing versus my Plague Bearer, so did the Gallows Giant. And then Zombies held for a long time. It was a good game. It was fun, and it kind of illustrated a point I wanted to talk about, so it doesn't matter that it wasn't, like, the closest game ever. I mean, Dov won it pretty handily, but it wasn't a shit show either. Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.